Vine sat on the edge of her bed, completely still. Her eyes were hollow, lifeless, as if something inside her had gone quiet. She had never imagined that these days would arrive so early in her life, not like this. She had just turned 18, the age that was supposed to mean freedom, choices, a future she could shape with her own hands. Inside, it felt like a cage closing around her. Her gaze drifted to the window, but she wasn't really looking outside. Her mind replayed her parents' words over and over, each one sinking deeper, heavier. You will be married in 3 days. 3 days? Her fingers curled slowly into the bed sheet beneath her, knuckles pale. She didn't cry, not yet. It was as if her body hadn't caught up with the shock her head had already absorbed. This can't be happening, she whispered to the empty room, her voice flat, almost emotionless. 18, too young to understand the world fully, yet old enough apparently to have her life decided for her. She leaned back against the headboard, staring at the ceiling, feeling the weight of something breaking inside her, not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, and somehow that made it hurt even more. A sudden knock on the window startled her. Vine flinched, quickly wiping her face before anyone could notice. She took a deep breath, forcing her expression to settle into something normal, something light. When she opened the window, there he was, Jungkook, leaning casually against the frame, a bright grin already on his face, eyes sparkling with that familiar mischief. Wow, he said cheerfully, is this how you welcome your future fiancé now? Window meetings? Very dramatic. Vine's heart skipped, but she masked it instantly, rolling her eyes with a small smile. You're crazy. What are you doing here? Can't I visit my girlfriend? He whispered, teasing. I was passing by and thought, let's annoy Park Wine a little. She let out a soft laugh that sounded almost real, even though her chest felt tight. You're impossible, she muttered, stepping aside so he could peek inside. Jungkook hopped in easily, brushing imaginary dust off his jacket, so he said brightly, looking around. What's with the silent treatment today? You look like you swallowed a lemon. I'm fine, Juan replied, a little too quickly, turning away to hide her face. Just tired, too much stirring. He raised an eyebrow but didn't push, instead flashing her an excited pout. You always say that. One day I will find out your big secret, you know. She smiled soft, careful. There's no secret. Jungkook stepped closer, still light-hearted, nudging her shoulder. Liar, but it's okay, he said with a grin. Whatever it is, you will tell me when you are ready. Vine's fingers curled out of sight. If only you know. But she just smiled back, nodding. Yeah, maybe someday. Jungkook suddenly pulled Vine into a tight hug, squeezing her from the side. Ah, Bhagwan, he laughed softly, resting his chin on her head. You're seriously so cute. Vine stiffened for half a second, his warmth, his closeness almost breaking her, but she quickly relaxed into the hug, hiding her face against his chest so he wouldn't see her eyes. Stop it, she murmured, trying to sound annoyed. You are embarrassing. Never, he replied cheerfully. That's literally my job. He pulled back just enough to look at her. Still smiling, completely unaware of the storm she was holding inside, he gently poked her cheek. You know, he said lightly, one day I'm going to kidnap you and keep you with me forever. Ryan forced a small laugh. You talk too much. Jungkook grinned wider and pretended to well. Her heart clenched at those words, but before he could notice anything else, she nudged him toward the window. You should go, she said softly. If someone sees you. Okay, okay, he said, holding up his hands dramatically, but only because my girlfriend asked nicely. He leaned in, brushing a quick kiss against forehead. Sleep well, dear. I will see you tomorrow. Vine nodded, smiling until it hurt. Tomorrow. As he climbed back out, still waving and smiling like everything was perfect, Vine slowly closed the window. The moment the latch clicked shut, her smile faded. She pressed her back against the glass, sliding down slightly, one hand covering her mouth to stop the sound that almost escaped. I'm sorry, she whispered into the empty room, because tomorrow everything was about to change. The night crept in slowly, heavy and suffocating. Vine stood in front of the mirror, getting ready, if one could even call it that. Her movements were slow, mechanical, her eyes empty as if her soul had already checked out. She adjusted the simple dress she was wearing, her hands trembling just a little. The door opened without a knock. Her mother walked in, her sharp heels clicking against the floor. One glance at Vine was enough for her expression to harden. "What are you wearing?" she snapped coldly. "Is this all you have?" Vine didn't answer. Her mother scoffed, arms crossing tightly. "This is a dinner, not some casual outing. You're going to meet your fiance." Still no response. "Vine," she continued harshly, stepping closer, her voice dripping with disdain. "Today you need to present yourself properly. Your fiance belongs to a rich, respectable family. Don't embarrass her by looking so ordinary." She scanned Vine from the head to toe once more. "Change and wear something worthy, or at least try to look like you understand what kind of family you are marrying into." Vine's fingers clutched at her sides. "Yes, Mom," she said quietly, her voice flat, lifeless. Her mother gave a final dissatisfied look before turning around. "Be ready in 15 minutes," she ordered, walking out as if nothing inside that room or inside her daughter mattered. The door shut. Vine stared at her reflection again. A stranger stayed back. Time passed slowly, every second stretching heavier than the last. They were all seated at the long dining table, the air stiff and uncomfortable. Cutlery was neatly arranged, untouched, glasses of water placed perfectly in front of everyone. No one spoke, no one smiled. Vine sat quietly, her back straight, hands resting in her lap like she had been taught. Her eyes stayed lowered, avoiding everyone, avoiding the situation she was being forced into. Her parents sat across from her, their expression sharp and expectant, checking the time now and then. The room felt less like a home and more like a negotiation hall. They weren't waiting for guests, they were waiting for a decision. Just then, the sound of the main door opened, echoed through the room. Footsteps followed, formal, measured. Vine lifted her gaze instinctively, and her breath caught. Her eyes widened as she stared at the man who walked in first. Big, the same man, the same face from the restaurant, the same smile, polite, control, unreadable. For a moment, everything around her blurred. Her fingers curled tightly in her lap as realization crashed into her. "It's him." He met her eyes for a brief second, just long enough for recognition to pass between them, his expression calm, almost unsurprised. Vine's heart dropped. This wasn't just a dinner anymore. This was a trap she had already walked into. Everyone took their places around the dining table. Vine sat stiffly, her back straight, hands folded tightly in her lap. The air felt heavy, too quiet, too formal. Then the chair beside her shifted. Vic was sat down next to her. The soft scrape of the chair against the floor sent a shiver through her. She didn't look at him immediately, keeping her gaze fixed on the untouched glass of a water in front of her. Her mother's voice cut through the silence, sharp and composed. "I hope the journey wasn't tiring," she said, offering a polite smile to the other family. "It was comfortable," Vecchino replied calmly. Then, turning slightly toward Vine, he added in a low voice meant only for her, "It's good to see you again, Vine." Her fingers tightened. She finally looked at him just for a second, then quickly looked away. "Likewise," she replied softly, her voice controlled but distant. Her father noticed the brief exchange and spoke coolly as if sealing her fate. "You both will have plenty of time to get to know each other. The wedding preparations are already underway." Vine's heart sank. Pequeno nodded slightly. "Of course, I believe understanding comes with time." The word echoed painfully in Vine's mind. She sat there, trapped between sharp expectation and a past she never asked to return, while the man beside her looked perfectly at ease, as if this outcome had always been inevitable. "Excuse me," Vine murmured, pushing her chair back. She didn't wait for anyone's response. The moment she entered the washroom, she locked the door and leaned against it, her chest rising and falling rapidly. Her hands trembled as she gripped the sink, eyes fixed on her reflection. "Just get through this," she whispered. "Just tonight." The tap ran, water splashing against porcelain until bang, the door slammed open so hard it rattled. One gasped. Before she could react, Jungkook stepped in and shut the door behind him, locking it with a sharp click. What the hell is he doing here? She snapped. She froze. He didn't wait for an answer. In two quick steps, he was in front of her, one hand slamming against the wall beside her head, the other clenched into a fist. His jaw was tight, burning with a fury she had never seen this close. Big, Jungkook growled. You are sitting next to him? Jungkook, she whispered, panic flooding her voice. No, he cut her off sharply. You don't get to brush this off. His voice dropped, dangerous and controlled. Do you know who is he to me? My lips parted, but no sound came out. He's not just a rich businessman, Jungkook continued, eyes locked in onto hers. He's the same man who ruined deals, destroyed people, and walked away smiling like blood on his hands meant nothing. His gaze flicked to her shaking hands, and now he's here with you. Wine swallowed hard. I didn't choose this, she said softly. That made him pause just for a second. What do you mean? You didn't choose this? He asked, slower now but no less intense. She turned her face away, tears pooling in her eyes. Jungkook, please go. Just go. His hands slammed harder against the wall. Is this why you have been acting distant? He demanded. Is this why you didn't tell me about tonight? She squeezed her eyes shut. You weren't supposed to know. He laughed bitterly, one short, hollow sound. Of course, he muttered. Because every time something hurts you, you decide to carry it alone. He leaned closer, voice rough with restrained rage. Look at me. She didn't. So he gently but firmly caught her chin and lifted her face. Her eyes were wet, broken, and that did something far worse than anger ever could. Are they forcing you? He asked quietly. Her silence was answer enough. Her grip loosened immediately. His hand dropped to his side, shaking. 3 days, he said, suddenly eyes dark. That's what your parents said, didn't they? Mine's breath hissed. Jungkook shut his eyes for a moment as if holding himself back from tearing the world apart. Wine, he said, voice low and deadly calm. Now, Baek Hyunwoo doesn't get to touch what's mine. Her heart slammed against her ribs. Jungkook, he leaned in, forehead resting against hers, anger mixing with desperation. I don't care whose families are involved. I don't care how powerful he is, he whispered. If they think they can take you away from me like this, his voice clenched, they have already made the biggest mistake of their lives. Footsteps echoed faintly outside. Jungkook stepped back, but his eyes never left hers. This isn't over, he said quietly, and you are not facing this alone, not anymore. He unlocked the door, paused, then looked back at her once more. Don't say yes to him, he warned softly. Promise me. Vine's voice barely came out. I can't. The door closed and Vine slid down against the sink, tears finally falling because she knew one thing now for sure. This wasn't just an arranged dinner anymore, it was a war. Thank you so much for reading, and if you are someone new here, make sure to check out my other stories on YT and my Indian themed book on Wattpad. Weave writes. Thank you so much.